one of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
You're in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta. It's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50-year-old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live. It's
very exciting, and really, if there was ever a place to get my first win, I feel like this would be the perfect week.
I feel like when this wind at this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
What the heck course were you playing today?
I don't know.
It's brutal out there.
It is brutal. I don't know. I just made everything I looked at, Jerry. You have those days. I suppose this was one of those days for me, so I relished it. I really enjoyed it. Every time I stood over a putt, just felt like I could make it, and you don't get days like that too often, or certainly I don't. So yeah, I relished in it, and I managed to hit a lot of good shots as well. So it was a special day.
Well, we're officially 2 weeks away from the start of the National Football League preseason, the Hall of Fame game. Checking in with the MLS soccer right now. LAFC and Salt Lake are tied at 1 in the 47th minute. Whitecaps up 1-0 in the 64th minute over Sporting Kansas City. And we've got like a bunch of props on this game. I need some corner kicks here. It's I got over 9.5 corner kicks. They're up to 6 for those of you that tailed us. We're in the 64th minute right now. And we could also use some goals as far as the total is concerned. But the Whitecaps are winning the game at least. George Kurtz with us, Cam Stewart in the house. We'll get back to some more goal picks after talking NFL football. But I want to take a look at some baseball futures. It's probably good you were gone, Kurtz, although I saw you tweeting about it. The Yankees had quite the hard time when you were gone for the most part. One loss after another.
I'm that guy on the cruise, by the way. I'm watching the Yankee game. It's not, by the way, the sports bar they have there, that's a joke. They call it the Tribute to Heroes bar, which, by the way, is meant for the military because they had, the flag and medals all over the place. They did have 4 TVs, which is okay, but all they showed was ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN SEC, and ESPN U. Like, oh, great, thanks, guys. I get to watch college lacrosse, which, by the way, I did watch. I think it was Alabama beat Arkansas.
Well, you were expecting the Yes Network on the cruise?
No, but little Fox, little FS1, they do say they have a sports bar, except we'll use the ESPN. But anyway, I had the Yes Network because I get it on my device. I paid for the internet plan. All right, so I'm watching I'm that guy who's watching it during shows. Comedians. I got the phone there, watch it during dinner. I don't care. My family, yes, I got to watch. I get it up against my little drink glass there, so I'm watching the games. The only time I got mad was the brutal loss on Sunday. I mean, that was bad. All right, when Volpe dropped the ground ball, then Verdugo screws up the line drive, and I feel bad for who was ever in the room below me because I was just jumping up and down on the floor. I was not happy. I was pissed off, to really put it nicely. And then I had to go to dinner or something like that or whatever, and I was all angry there too. But yeah, that was the only game that made me. I knew they would win in Tampa Bay. They never won in Tampa Bay when they're a good team. All right, so they just don't win in Tampa. But I did want to see the sweep of the Orioles. That would have been nice. But it is what it is.
So the odds right now, if any team needed a break, everybody needed a break. But if anyone really could have used a break, it was the New York Yankees. So they get to regroup here right now. And looking at the future odds, it's basically a pick 'em. -105 for the Baltimore Orioles and -105 for the New York Yankees. You're the pessimistic Yankee fan, Kurt, so I imagine you think Baltimore will win the division. And I got to be honest, I'm hard-pressed to believe that Baltimore won't win the division.
Well, remember, if not for the Yankees collapse and how badly they've been playing, we'd be talking about how badly Baltimore's been playing. What are they?
Yeah, they've been playing
500
500 baseball
like
only.
Right.
Yeah,
they've been pretty pathetic as well here. I just think Baltimore has the capabilities to go out and get what they need. All right, Baltimore needs another starting pitcher and a good bullpen arm. You know, and they'd be right there with anybody else, maybe in baseball. Certainly ahead of anybody else in the American League here. But they have the prospects to go out and do it. The Yankees, I know they like to play up their prospects, how great they are. I'm sure Spencer Jones might be really great, but he's the only person they really have here, and they don't want to deal him. So, and can the Yankees get a third baseman, an outfielder, at least one starting pitcher, and massive bullpen help? That's a lot to ask at the deadline here. It's a lot to ask. So, yes, I think Yankees will make the playoffs, but I think Baltimore will win the division.
Baltimore -105, Yankees -105. The Red Sox are 20-1. The Central. Shout out to all of our AM radio affiliates joining us. This is SportsRage Level 3 has begun. The picks, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. We got George Kurtz and Cam Stewart in the house with us. We'll get Kurtz out in a minute. Our boy Ian Cameron, A.K. Babano, is going to step up and in. But let's start off in the WNBA tonight. A lot of talk about the WNBA Rookie of the Year battle. And like everything right now, everything is going to be polarizing. And Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are basically joined at the hip for the rest of their careers, and they're both going off, but Caitlin raised it up a notch tonight, finishing with a WNBA all-time record 19 assists this evening, 24 points, 6 rebounds. The thing, though, with Caitlin Clark is she's got 19 assists, guys. She really doesn't have very good players to pass the ball to, right? Like, Aaliyah Boston is good. Who else is good on this team? Like, if you watch the Indiana Fever play, you see how Caitlin Clark is slowing down for her teammates all the time. She plays at a higher pace physically, and she thinks a lot faster than the rest of them do. And she's got to slow it down. She's got 19 assists with a bunch of stiffs around her. And they're only going to get better in the coming years. A really, really fun game. The Dallas Wings tonight, who have had a really bad year, actually, the Wings. They've struggled. They stepped up. The game sailed over the number. People are going to rip Bronny James all the time. And, somewhat, it's almost justifiable because LeBron is the one that is to blame for all this. I saw a funny tweet the other day that someone redid. LeBron James, if you guys remember, LeBron James was watching NBA basketball last year, and he goes, I'm watching NBA League Pass tonight, and he goes, it's straight out clownish. Bronny is better than all of these guys. So LeBron's talking about his son being better than guys that are actually in the NBA when Bronny's not better than actual guys that are in the NBA Summer League. But the Lakers get it done tonight. In a gutsy victory, actually. The Atlanta Hawks had a double-digit lead on them. The Lakers have not looked very good at all in the Summer League. But I got to tell you what, it was an impressive performance. They came back. They fought. They were playing defense. They stepped up. Bronny James was mic'd up. It was actually pretty cool to hear him talk on the court and sort of get a feel for what he's like. And Bronny James tonight finished with 12 points in 24 minutes, 5 of 11 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, hit a big 3 in this game, played some good defense, sort of was like a team leader out there. So, like we said, you're going to call people out. Dude, the other night, the draft pick for the Washington Wizards, Sars, he went 0 for 15 from the field. He didn't hit a single shot. It was actually technically the worst performance in NBA Summer League history. So people are going to panic and overreact. Wembanyama sucked in his first Summer League game. So everyone should just chill out about all these players in the Summer League. So, Kurtz, before we get you out of here, you were on a cruise for the last couple of weeks. But baseball is back. What is your hot take predictions here for the second half? Who wins You think Baltimore wins the East? Who wins the American League Central, the Twins or the Guardians? Guardians are minus 175 right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Guardians. I think they're the better team there. Twins too much up and down here. I think the Twins could make the playoffs. Probably will make the playoffs, but I just don't see much damage coming from them. I think they played maybe even a little bit above their head. So give me the Guardians to win that division.
Man, this Guardian team has been unbelievable for the last couple of years and have dialed it up a notch this year. I find it interesting, though. It's cool. All these divisions are up in the air still. The NL, the NL East is kind of wrapped up, obviously. The National League is a little bit different, but the American League, look at the American League West right now. The Seattle Mariners, minus 120. Houston Astros, plus 110. Rangers, plus 750. Angels and Athletics, obviously, out of the mix. Cam, who do you think wins the American League West?
I think the Houston Astros do. Remember when we could have got a great number on these guys, and now they're just on a heater. Guys are getting healthier. They look like the old Astros again. I like the Mariners a lot, Gabe. I'm cheering for them, but I think the Astros get it done at plus money.
Kurtz, you think the Astros or Mariners win this division, or Rangers?
As much as I hate to say it, not because Cam said it, but I just hate the Astros. Yeah, I think they're going to win it too. I think Seattle blew their opportunity. They just can't hit. Although I don't discount the Rangers. All right, the only reason they're not there is because they haven't hit all year long. But they have the bats. The bats are there. Hit.
The Rangers have a run in them.
They do.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50-year-old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live. It's
very exciting, and really, if there was ever a place to get my first win, I feel like this would be the perfect week.
This wind at this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
What the heck course were you playing today?
I don't know.
It's brutal out there.
It is brutal. I don't know. I just made everything I looked at, Jerry. You have those days. I suppose this was one of those days for me, so I really shouldn't. I really enjoyed it. Every time I stood over a putt, just felt like I could make it, and you don't get days like that too often, or certainly I don't. So yeah, I relished in it, and I managed to hit a lot of good shots as well. So it was a special day.
Let's roll. The Wicked Wednesday continues. This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. We've got the summer of soccer continues. We took a couple of days off after the Copa and the Euro ended, but a full slate of MLS soccer tonight and a bunch of Western Conference action going on as we speak. And we've got a bunch of action on this going on right now as we speak. And as we speak, the Vancouver Whitecaps have just scored seconds ago to take a 2-1 lead over Sporting Kansas City in the 75th minute, which is a good thing because we've got over 2.5, baby. And we're on to Vancouver Whitecaps to win the match as well. So they're up 2-1 in the 76th minute right now. Both LA teams are in action, and both teams getting all that they can handle. The Galaxy were up early. It's up. They're up 3-2 right now in the 67th minute over the Colorado Rapids. Meanwhile, Salt Lake and LAFC are tied at 1 in the 60th minute. The Sounders are beating St. Louis 2-0 in the 75th minute. The Earthquakes and the Dynamo are scoreless in the 78th minute. And as we alluded to, the Vancouver Whitecaps have just taken a 2-1 lead over Sporting Kansas City. Countdown to the Open. We got some golf coming up here. We talk golf every week, but it's a little bit different when it's a major tournament. There's a couple of players that I like and a couple of plays that I like, but we discussed this earlier. And Dustin Johnson, plus 120, not to make the cut. Dustin Johnson has not made the cut in 3 of the last 4 majors that he's played in. If there is a player that is checked out and went to live to basically drink champagne and get some sun, it's Dustin Johnson. And you throw in bad weather in Scotland this weekend, I don't think it's a good mix for DJ. I'm playing Dustin Johnson, Cam, plus 120, not to make the cut.
I like the play. The one thing about Johnson, he's had success here in the past, but that's the past, buddy. You said it recently. His major record is deplorable. If there's any elements, the thing is, Gabe, basically if he starts off poorly, he's not one of these guys like Schauffele, whatever, can grind back and get back into this tournament. If things go bad early, I think it's going to be a snowball effect, and he's going to shoot a big number and go home. Yeah, it's very simple. This guy, he's lost his passion to win. Money's the issue, and this is not the place to do it. It's a very dangerous golf course. Weather's going to be up and down too. You got to have focus, and I don't think he has it.
Yeah, I think it's impossible to turn it on and off, but to be in his mindset, he's way too far away mentally to compete in a major, Cam. Like his site, like Brooks Koepka is a competitor, and he knows how to sort of channel it and dial it up. Bryson doesn't care where he is. If Bryson was playing at a mini putt tournament, he'd want to win. So, like, it doesn't matter if it's live or if it's a major. Bryson's going to care. There's certain alpha personalities. Dustin just doesn't have that. We've talked about it. It's just not his personality. He's got hundreds of millions of dollars. He's living a great life. And he doesn't have that killer instinct. So, and you throw in the bad weather, I just don't see him being in the mix. We talked about Bryson DeChambeau. You know what? We can't say he's really struggled when he plays in the Open, but he's only really been in the top 25 before, right? So, is Bryson? What's Bryson going to bring to the table here? Same thing with Scheffler as far as being a big favorite. I believe we got Ian Cameron, a.k.a. Babano, ready to step up and in. Babano, good to see you tonight. Your infamous golf guy is a European, so I'm looking forward to hearing the European insight for the European Championship here, Babano. The Open Championship. We're also talking about who the team in the NFL is going to have the worst record in the National Football League as well, and some college football futures. But start off with the Open, Babano. Who do you have on your sheet here? Who'd your tipster tell you to take?
Tipster. Well, he's usually Mr. Value, and he likes the big shot, long shots. He likes 100 to 1, 150 to 1. There's not as many of them this week on his card. He's going more for the favorites this week, but he has a bunch of them. He starts with Tommy Fleetwood at 22 to 1, John Rahm at 25 to 1, Victor Hovland around 30 to 1, Tom Kim 45 to 1, Tony Finau. This is a guy that's had trouble finishing, but he likes Tony Bigfoot Finau here this weekend, 45 to 1. Joaquin Niemann at 55 to 1. Aaron Rai, I love this pick. Aaron Rai at 60 to 1. He's been very consistent lately. Sung Jae Im 70, Thigala 75, Noren 100, and Akshay Bhatia at 100 to 1.
It's a lot of picks.
It's a lot of picks you got there, the battle. What was that, 12?
Yeah, it's nice.
12
Yeah,
bucks?
it's Baker's
Not quite
dozen.
that many.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
9.
It's 9.
Oh, is it 9?
That's not Yeah. It sounded like
9
13, but yeah.
I was just talking about Dustin Johnson, a player on the Live Tour who I don't think is going to make the cut. I'm not saying John Rahm's not going to make the cut, but he's another player that ever since he went to the Live Tour, he's just had bad luck, injuries, hasn't played well. He got thrown off when he went to the Masters, and a lot of people snubbed him. He had the Champions Dinner, and the old guys were nice to him, but the current tour players basically didn't talk to him. And he was surprised. He was like, I thought I was friends with these guys. And it's like, well, there's ramifications for you joining the enemy, right? Like in their mind. So he's been rattled by it. I'm not in love with John Rahm here, Cam, but this is the way to end the season. So you know what? He's going to want to end with a bang here. This is his last big chance.
Let me say this,
to play
Gabe,
this year.
about John Rahm. The main reasoning in the write-up from my golf guy for Rahm is that it's John Rahm 25-1. When are you going to get him at that kind of a price? That was the main reason.
It's like me taking the Dodgers plus 120.
Yeah, you're right. But I will say this, guys. Be very careful with Rahm. He's had major injuries. He has another child. His life has changed a lot. He's had a foot injury, Gabe. And I'll tell you, when you're in Scotland on that ground and in gorse bush and whatever, getting a clean lie is difficult. 25-1 is a great price, but it's there for a reason. He's not been in good form, and he's battling multiple injuries.
Yeah, I'm not in love with John Rahm at all here. But we're not. I do like some of those picks that Babano threw out, including it's not a rumor. Tommy Fleetwood.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50-year-old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Golf Championships, and now we have Live.
It's very exciting, and really, if there was ever a place to get my first win, I feel like this would be the perfect week.
I feel like when there's this wind at this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
What the heck course were you playing today?
I don't know.
It's brutal out there.
It is brutal. I don't know. I just made everything I looked at, Jerry. You have those days. I suppose this was one of those days for me, so I relish in it. I really enjoyed it. Every time I stood over a putt, just felt like I could make it, and you don't get days like that too often, or certainly I don't. So I relished in it, and I managed to hit a lot of good shots as well. So it was a special day.
The Wicked Wednesday continues. This is SportsRage. I am Morency. Shout out to all of our AM radio affiliates joining us. The Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal, and the House, Sirius XM Channel 159 of the SportsGrid Radio and Television Networks. Ian Cameron and Cam Stewart in the house. I am Morency. Babano, we spent quite a bit of time earlier. It all started harmlessly. We were talking with Paul Bovey earlier, and he was sharing some of the player props that he's put in, NFL plays that he started to put in. Talked about liking Bryce Young this year, over 3,200 passing yards. And talked about how, he was near 2,800 last year, much better coaching situation, and second year right now. I didn't disagree with the pick. But I also said after, I think Carolina are going to be amongst the worst teams in the National Football League once again. Cam and him both said no, they think they're going to go over 5.5 wins. I disagree with that. I don't think they're getting to 6. And then we said, all right, who's the worst team in the NFL going to be? The odds, the co-favorites, they're both plus 400 to be the worst team in the league. The Panthers and the Patriots. Looking at the landscape of the NFL, it does seem like the Patriots could be the worst team in the league, but it also doesn't mean that the Panthers are going to be good either this year. Who do you think the worst team in the league is?
I agree with you with New England. I think New England is, going to be the worst team. Of course, they lose Bill Belichick, and this is not a shot toward Gerard Mayo, but he's obviously in a tricky situation. The defense was solid last year, but I don't think it's going to be nearly as good. They're going to be on the field a lot. With all due respect to their quarterback situation, the old veteran Brissett, he's likely going to start. Drake May's not going to be ready to be the guy in week 1 right away. Just think New England's going to be in a situation where they're in a division where, look, Dolphins are going to still be very good. The Bills are going to still be very good. The Jets obviously are loaded, and now they've got Aaron Rodgers healthy. So where is the pathway for New England to have a very good season, especially in their own division? You look at some of those out-of-division games that they play, very difficult. You look at Houston. You got to play Jacksonville. You got to play Cincinnati. You got to play some really tough teams outside the division throughout the course of the season. So I think there's a really good case to be made for me. You could say the value's not great, but there's a reason New England's only plus 400 to be the worst team in the NFL. And I am with Cam on Carolina. I think they may not just be a little better. They might be a lot better. That's a winnable division. I've got 11-1 in pocket for Carolina to win the NFC South.
Guys.
Okay.
What?
That is
I don't have that. Yeah, Carolina Kool-Aid.
Paul Bovey threw that out there. That's what Bovey said earlier. He just said, hey, listen, this division is winnable at 11-1. We were talking about whether the Falcons, like all this hype about the Falcons, and the Falcons are minus 120 to win the division right now. And Bovey brought up the Panthers. I just want to remind you guys, the Panthers won 2 football games last year. So there's improving, and woefully coached, fine, but there's improving in steps. It's very difficult to go from 2 to 6 or 2 to 7 overnight.
Well, I'm not talking about these guys winning the division like Romano and Bovey. I just like 6. Yeah. I think they get this. I think they can win 6 games.
They're not winning the division. Like I said, if they win the division, then I really will get the hair plugs.
No, honestly, if they win the division, you're getting a rug. You're getting a lid. You're getting hair. Yeah. That's the deal.
Like I said, normally hosts will say, "I'll shave my head if this team does this." I can't do that. I'm already bald, so I'll go in reverse. I said I'll get hair plugs.
Offensive line and a Saints team that's got a defense in decline and a horrible head coach in Dennis Allen. You trust them? Do you trust Atlanta, who hired Raheem Morris? I think that's a terrible hire, and I don't trust their defense. Kirk Cousins is another hit from being injured again at the quarterback spot. And then you've got Tampa Bay, won the division last year. But Baker Mayfield, by the way, Dave Canales is the coach of Carolina now. You know the job he did with Geno in Seattle 2 years ago when he was on that offensive coaching staff, and what Geno played like last year with Baker Mayfield. He got a resurgent Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay. Canales can work with Bryce Young. Bryce Young's not without hope here. If he has a horrible year this year, then we can reevaluate that maybe there's no hope for Bryce Young. But let Canales work with him. Canales got one of the best seasons of Baker Mayfield's career last year, probably his best season, and he got Geno Smith to play incredible 2 years ago with Seattle when he was on that coaching staff. I think he can salvage Bryce Young. We'll see.
Well, listen, Bryce Young has a lot of talent. He's only been in the league 1 year, but difference is the Carolina Panthers don't have Chris Godwin. The Carolina Panthers don't have Mike Evans to throw the football to, right? Like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do. There's no talent. I agree with Canales, and I think he'll build. Carolina will be good in a couple of years. He'll build them up, but I think it hurts Tampa losing him more than sort of Carolina's going to win 6-7 games suddenly.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta. It's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live.
It's very exciting, and really, if there was ever a place to get my first win, I feel like this would be the perfect week.
I feel like when it's this windy, this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
What the heck course were you playing today?
I don't know.
It's brutal out there.
It is brutal. I don't know. I just made everything I looked at, Jerry. You have those days. I suppose this was one of those days for me, so I relished it. I really enjoyed it. Every time I stood over a putt, just felt like I could make it, and you don't get days like that too often, or certainly I don't. So yeah, I relished in it, and I managed to hit a lot of good shots as well. So it was a special day.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. We're 2 weeks away from kickoff in the National Football League. Two Thursdays, the Hall of Fame game, rapidly approaching. College football kicks off on August 24th. Florida State and Georgia Tech in Ireland. But that following Saturday, the 31st, is going to be lit. Some big-time games, man, with Notre Dame and Texas A&M on Saturday night. Clemson and Georgia on Saturday night. The defending champion Michigan Wolverines open up their season against Fresno State, which Fresno can ball. Michigan are laying like 20.5 points in this game as well. It's a big point spread to be laying. Obviously, Jeff Tedford is out right now. And the whole thing with that game, just quickly, is Michigan played the Texas Longhorns the following week. And I'm not a look-ahead guy, right, about, they're going to be looking ahead. They're not going to be looking ahead. But the coaching staff in the fourth quarter could be looking ahead, where it's a new team. They don't want to show their stuff. So if they are beating Fresno by 17 points with 10 minutes left, they could, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying that Michigan, if let's just say they rout Fresno, they could go vanilla on it, right? So that's the whole thing. They're not going to really want to show their offense. You know they're going to sit on some stuff and roll out some new plays against the Texas Longhorns. But man, that's a big-time game. Texas and Michigan, September the 7th in Ann Arbor, Texas. Looking at the Saints depth chart, it is thin. There's no doubt about it. If they're healthy, which they, you know what I mean? Like, so week one, if they're healthy, you know what I mean? They could be dangerous. Just, Olave, Cedric Wilson, Kamara. But they have a lot of injury-prone players. They always have. They got older players, injury-prone players. Defensively, they're aging. They got back on. They're not a well-managed team, the Saints. Like, it's, the Saints are in, like, purgatory. They don't suck. They kind of do. But they don't suck hard enough. It's like, well, we're going to suck. Let's suck for real instead of just being this, like, lower-tier team stuck in hell. Like, nothing ever changes. Me and Rick Saratella were talking about this, and he firmly believes it, and I don't dispute this either, that Spencer Rattler will be the quarterback of the New Orleans Saints by the end of the year. Like, if things are going bad for the Saints, Carr gets hurt, whatever, Rattler's going to come in, and I think Rattler's the future quarterback of the Saints. So I think they are a team in transition. Their win total 7.5. I don't see how they're going to get to 8 wins either. But let's get to the golf. I want to get to college football as well. I was going over college football win totals earlier in the day. So I don't have a million picks here. I talked about Dustin Johnson not making the cut at plus 120. I think that Rory, even though the odds aren't great, I think that Rory, I'm going to play Rory because he's in it all the time. And he's won here before. He's got like 6 top 10s, man, in these opens. So there's no disputing. He's going to be in the mix. It would be a nice way to end the season for Rory. He's going to be one of the fan favorites there as well. I just like this little Rory vibe. I think he really can pull this off on the way out. So the 2 guys that jump off the page to me, Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood. Cam, who are you taking?
First of all, Morency, if you like Rory McIlroy, I've seen him at 7-1, 8-1 on a book that we bet at. He's boosted to 12. That is an exceptional number for Rory McIlroy, and he should be played at that number because he could win this tournament. I think he's definitely going to be top 5 and 10. Let's start off with my winners right now. Guys, I like to win. I'm going to go with Colin Morikawa. I see a 20 out there, but I took him at 18, guys. So Colin Morikawa is my first pick. Yep, Gabe, you're right. I'm with the hipsters this week with Ty Hatton doing really well on the Live Tour. Won last 2 tournaments ago, top 5 the other time. He's just been ripping it up. And as I said before, don't worry about Live stuff. It's actually a benefit for these guys. They play tournaments overseas. They play more links courses and stuff. Well, the guys in the PGA just tour North America, so it's big for them. Tony Finau. I'm with your golf guy, Babano. I think Finau, now or never. He actually can play well. He's actually done well in Scotland, Ireland, and England before when he goes overseas. He hits it a long way. It's all about the putting. We'll talk about the putter. I think the greens are not as fast, so it nullifies guys who kind of get hot and cold with the putter. That's Finau. I got a better number. I got him at 38. I've seen him at 50 on some books, so I screwed up there. Tommy Kim, 50-1, guys. I like what I saw. He's always hanging around the leaderboard, Gabe. All it's going to take for him is to close the door, and I think he could be a very dangerous player. That price to me is nuts. I think he should be around 35. Also, Wyndham Clark, low round on Sunday at the Scottish Open. He's starting to feel it over there, getting used to playing these type of courses, 66. And defending champion Brian Harman, lefties will play very well here. He is 70-1. Those are my picks. Gabe, all your guys. Rory, for a top 10 is even money. You don't have to lay juice, not even a top 5. Rory top 10, plus 100. We got that. Xander Schauffele, always in the mix. I'm not sure if he's going to win. He played like junk last week, and he finished 14th. He didn't even play that well, and he was right there. Schauffele, plus 150 for a top 10. Gabe, your guy, Fleetwood Mac. There we go. Rumors, plus 115 for a top 20. You kidding me? I'll play him top 10 as well. And we're also going to go with Sahith Theegala, that is starting to figure out links golf. Very dangerous player. Top 40s, Alex Noren finished 10th last week at the Scottish Open. You want to give me even money for a top 40? And people don't know this guy, but I do because I watch a lot of European golf. His name is Tom McKibben, and he's one of the best players on the DP World Tour. It's tough to get in the Open. You got to be a very good player in Europe. Plus 150 for a top 40 finish. First round leaders, this is what we do. Xander Schauffele out of the gate at 25. Fleetwood, 33. Tony Finau, 40. Clark, 60-1. Jason Day, 90. And McKibben, 110. Specials, Rory and Xander both to finish top 20, including ties, plus 125. Fleetwood, Hatton, Morikawa, all top 10, 46-1. Boom. And that could actually, I think, can happen. And what else do I got? Scheffler and Schauffele and Rory, all top 20s and ties, plus 165. And I have top senior, Gabe. Old man Ernie. He'll invite you on the plane with a couple cocktails and punch you in the face. He's got a couple guys to beat. I almost took him top South African at 18, but I will take Ernie. All players 50 and over. That's a senior in golf. 10-1. Ernesto, top senior. Those are my plays.
All right, good stuff. May the winners be yours. A lot of plays there from Cam, and we got first round leaders to get to as well. And obviously, I'll play my guys that I'm taking with Fleetwood and Rory, but I always like taking Finau. Finau's a good first round player off it. So I'm going to take a look at Tony Finau as a first round leader. I'm going to throw a dart on Alex Noren, first round leader. And as far as top 20s here, talking about Tony Finau, I don't think Tony Finau is going to win a tournament, guys, but he's been so good in these majors, and he's good on these links courses as well. And you're getting plus 190 for top 20. It's a nice price. Plus
Great
190,
price.
top 20 for Tony Finau. And a guy that you like to play, Cam, often. I think he can finish top 20. I like the odds here at plus 210. Very, very reliable. Hits the ball straight. Aaron Rye, plus 210, top 20.
I like your picks a lot. First round leaders, Gabe, get on it right now. Finau comes out of the gate hot. I told you I'm betting him at 40. Xander Schauffele is a notorious hot starter at 25. And your boy Fleetwood, it's essential that he gets off to a good start. 33-1 first round leaders, all will be played.
Our boy Ghoster is in the house in our Twitter stream chat here. And the first round leaders is always a good way to go. And Ghoster says he loves the Noren play. And Ghoster is going with Sam Burns and Siwoo Kim, first round, T20. Both to go low early as well. Pavon to miss the cut, plus 110. Interesting play there. Pavon to miss the cut, plus 110. All right, we'll get into some football on the other side. We're going into week 7 of the CFL. Former Notre Dame Fighting Irish quarterback Jarius Jackson takes over as the interim coach for the Edmonton Elks. They're looking for their first win. We got some college football win totals. Like I said, we've got quite a few college football win totals, but there's a few of them just screaming at me to click right now.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live. It's
very exciting, and really, if there was ever a place to get my first win, I feel like this would be the perfect week.
When this wind in this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
What the heck course were you playing today?
I don't know.
It's brutal out there.
It is brutal. I don't know. I just made everything I looked at, Jerry. You have those days. I suppose this was one of those days for me, so I relished it. I really enjoyed it. Every time I stood over a putt, just felt like I could make it, and you don't get days like that too often, or certainly I don't. So, I relished in it, and I managed to hit a lot of good shots as well. So it was a special day.
Let's roll. Level 3 continues. Countdown to kickoff continues as well. So I was talking about liking some of these college football win totals. And we were talking last night about to make the playoffs. Obviously, there's 12 teams going to make the playoffs now. You have the new Power 5. The American Athletic takes over for the Pac-12. So the American Athletic champion is going to get in. And so you got five conference winners. You're going to have the at-large. You could have potentially Notre Dame. That only gets you up to 7. So there's room. There's going to be room for the Big Ten teams and the SEC teams to get in, because the Big 12 and the ACC, I don't think they're going to get multiple teams in. But Beto, the big topic is who's that sort of non-power conference team that's going to get in this year. A lot of people think it's going to be Liberty. And a team that I like a lot, and I talked about this last year, that they're gunning for this spot as well. That's Memphis. Memphis are stacked as well. The thing is, Liberty's schedule is a lot easier. So as far as the win total, guys, I normally don't like betting on an over 10.5 because there's not a lot of room, and a lot of room for error in a college football season of 12 games. But guys, the Liberty Flames play the 134th toughest schedule in college football. Okay? It's like literally the softest schedule in college football. And they have 14 returning starters on an undefeated football team from last year. They have 19 of the Conference USA, all Conference USA players. So out of 22, 19 of them are Liberty Flames. You look at this, you know, they play App State. So they go to App State. But for the most part here, there's no reason why Liberty, I'd be shocked, Babano, if Liberty lost more than one game. And I don't think they're going to lose, actually. I think Liberty are going to run the table. They got Salter back as well. Their quarterback, their running back, they're loaded. They got a transfer and a wide receiver from NC State. They're really, really stacked, this team. Soft-ass schedule. I like the 10.5 over with the Liberty Flames.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to see them losing more than one game. I mean, with that schedule, it's cupcake. If the Conference USA is watered down, it's much weaker than it's ever been in the past, obviously, with all the teams moving from Conference USA to other conferences the last few years. So it's a conference they should dominate, especially with the returning production. I mean, they're top 5, top 10 in returning production this year in college football. Caden Salter, their quarterback, is back. The O-line looks terrific. I think the defense, which was the one area where they were a little vulnerable at times last year, should be a lot better too. So there's lots to like, obviously, with Liberty, and 11-1 or better is what I would expect. And you mentioned them having a weak schedule, Gabe. There's another team I noticed that's got a weak schedule coming out of the AAC conference, and that's Tom Herman at the Florida Atlantic Owls. They've got a very, very soft schedule. This is a guy that at Houston, at Texas, gradual improvement with both programs. I think this year you'll see that leap from Florida Atlantic. I think their schedule is very manageable. They've avoided a lot of the best teams in their own conference on their schedule this season. So I like good things for Florida Atlantic this year, and I like them over their win total. In the ACC, I'll throw one at you, and I think it's a team that's going to benefit from going to the ACC, not being in the Pac-12 where they had to deal with USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington, all the great teams. How about the Stanford Cardinal to go over 3.5 wins? I think Stanford under Troy Taylor is going in the right direction. I mean, they were competitive. They're building things. I think Ashton Daniels, a guy that's got some capability at the quarterback spot. You're going to an ACC conference that has not been as good, the last few years. I think, for Stanford, obviously, they're going to have to deal with the fact now they're playing so many East Coast games. But I think when you look at the fact they've only got to win one more game than they did last year in a conference that I think is very, very mediocre, I think Stanford can do that. So like Stanford over 3.5 wins as well.
I agree with where you're going with Stanford, actually. I think people think they're a little bit worse than they are. I think they'll fit in here. They have a lot of 50-50 games that they're going to be able to compete in. And, Stanford and Cal, of course, going over there. I don't understand the 6.5s out there with Cal. But I don't see where the 7 wins are coming from with this football team either. I like the under 6.5 for the Cal Golden Bears. The travel is going to catch up to them. For the record, UCLA guys are traveling 26,000 miles this year. 26,000 miles. To put in perspective, the Washington Commanders travel 10,000 miles this year. Yeah, they're that much. They're traveling like Metallica. There's rock bands on tours. You know what I mean? That's a lot. 26,000 miles for a 12-game football season. All right, so we're going into week 7 of the CFL. We've got our first coaching change. Chris Jones is out. Jarius Jackson is in. Speaking of college football, people remember him from Notre Dame. He was a quarterback in the CFL. He's been an assistant coach for years, worked his way up the ladder. So I think he's a good, could be a good fit here for this team. Unbelievable loss in the game against Ottawa this past week. They come back, they tie the game. In hindsight, even though at the time I wasn't saying it, so I even said, I tweeted before they scored the tying touchdown at the end of the game, guys. I tweeted out, I said, I bet you Chris Jones goes for 2 here. I said, it seems to me like that's the type of thing that he would do. And in hindsight, they probably should have, right? They were right there. You know what I mean? It's one play as opposed to a whole sequence of overtime potentially. But they never got to overtime. They managed to screw it up in 8 seconds somehow by kicking the ball out of bounds, then giving up a big play over the middle. Now they have the new coach. They're playing the same team. Who do you like, Babano, on Friday night? The Red Blacks are 2-point favorites. Total is 53. And I'll tell you right now, I'm betting the over this game. I bet the over last week. I'm betting the over again. So put my hand up. Give me over 53. But who do you think wins the game?
Yeah, all 4 games went over last week in the CFL, and really there was really no sweat in any of them. They all went over the total pretty easily last week in the CFL. I like Edmonton here. New coach bump. I think you get the problem out of there. Chris Jones' defense was supposed to be a specialty, and that defense never got any better. I think they rally around the coaching chains and Double J. Edmonton wins their first game Friday night.
Cam, what's your pick?
Elks, baby. I'm with Babano. Money line and spread.
All right, we got more picks on the other side. Let's roll.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live. It's
very exciting, and really, if there was ever a place to get my first win, I feel like this would be the perfect week.
This wind at this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
What the heck course were you playing today?
I don't know.
It's brutal out there.
It is brutal. I don't know. I just made everything I looked at, Jerry. You have those days. I suppose this was one of those days for me, so I really shouldn't. I really enjoyed it. Every time I stood over a putt, just felt like I could make it, and you don't get days like that too often, or certainly I don't. So yeah, I relished in it, and I managed to hit a lot of good shots as well. So it was a special day.
This is SportsRage. Got a couple of minutes left. No dog days of summer here. Man, there's been a lot of sports going on. NBA Summer League, WNBA tonight. Caitlin Clark, 19 assists. Game goes over the number. Bronny James dropped 12 tonight. The Lakers won their first Summer League game of the season by 1 point in dramatic fashion. We talked a lot of golf tonight with the Open Championship coming up after this show. And we got a couple of CFL picks right now before we get Babano out of here. We'll hit the CFL once again tomorrow night. But so like we said, you get that coaching bump. I can't really disagree with the Elks. It's going to be super close. They could find a way to lose it. It'll be a close game. I tell you what, though, I like the Red Blacks over 6.5 win total this year, and we're chipping away. Right? Yeah. They've got more wins than I think a lot of people thought they were going to have already. We're halfway there almost. But I really like the over of this game. Edmonton, one thing I didn't like about Edmonton with Chris Jones, their play calling was bad. All right? And Jarius Jackson having more control now as a former quarterback will get it. I'd like to see Trey Ford on the field a bit. One thing, I don't even know why the hell they spent $600,000 on a quarterback, and they're 0-5 anyways. Like, they could spend less on Trey Ford and actually win a couple of games because he's actually a good athlete and can run around. But nevertheless, the Bombers are 4-point favorites right now. And Shea Patterson, who I remember the first time he played, they were underdogs. I took him on the money line, and all I heard from all these people, Shea Patterson, we'll see what he can do and stuff. We already see what he can do. The guy was a freaking star at Ole Miss. He was good, not great with Michigan, and he sort of kicked around the pro circuit. He's had a hard time sticking in the XFLs, UFLs. He makes the teams, but doesn't really play. This is sort of his first crack at being, all right, you're a starting quarterback again, Shea. And he's getting more and more and more comfortable. And also, let's give credit Babano to the play calling. They know his limitations. Quick dump, like roll him out, get rid of it quickly. Get it into the Rough Rider wide receivers are really good after to catch those guys. They just get it to them, let them just add to it after. We'll move the ball. We'll create turnovers with our defense. I don't see why this game is any different. I'm going to take the Rough Riders plus 4 points on their home field.
Yeah, I think at this number you have to. I mean, I think it's a little carried away with look, Winnipeg's won 2 in a row, and people are back on the bandwagon, and people think they're back to being that dominant team again, but they beat Ottawa and Calgary at home. They gave up 37 points to Jake Mayer last week. That's not good. He's got bottom 2 quarterbacks still for me in the CFL. So now you got to do it on the road. They're 0-2 straight up in ATS on the road. I think it's asking a lot now, laying more than a field goal here.
Where's your boy, Bo Levi?
Yeah, bottom.
If you've got him, yeah. So
he's
if you want to start, right.
He's dead last.
So
yeah.
As an all kidding aside, we only got like a minute and a half here, but your Hamilton Tiger Cats, Babano, 3-point underdogs on Saturday night against the Argos. Totals 53. Who do you like?
I'm staying out of the side. I think you got to take Toronto, I think, at this number, but I'm just staying off the side. I like the over here. I mean, Hamilton's just an over team until I see that defense do something, and they've been awful. That over with Cam and me at the game a couple weeks ago against BC was easy. It got there with plenty of room to spare, so I like over in that game, 52.5.
This might be the week, actually. You've got no confidence in them, I understand. I think I bet against Hamilton.
It might be the week for them.
I bet against them. They're kind of due. Like, it's sort of, they played a little bit better. The problem is, man, they're coming. The problem is they can't stop the pass. They line up like 20 yards off the line of scrimmage. I would complete like 30 passes. You just drop back and dunk it off. It's like, guys, you got to start pressing them a little bit, and they just don't. It's bizarre. They got young DBs and they're worried about getting beat deep. BC lay 4.5. Like I said, guys, we'll have time to hit this game later in the week. Calgary hung around. I've liked the Stamps this year. They've been scrappy ATS wise. BC aren't messing around. It's a West Coast trip for them. BC are going to roll these guys. I think it'll be like 35-20 or something. I think BC wins comfortably, Babano. What's your pick?
I think they win. I'm going to go team total, though, instead. Over 28.5. Then I don't have to worry about it being either 30-16 or 30-28. Just get me 30 points and I'm happy, and I think BC can do that.
Yeah, explosive offense, this BC line football team with Vernon Adams at the helm. All right, so the golf is set to begin for the hard course. Countdown to the Olympics is on. Next week, it's the calm before the storm. 2 weeks away from NFL preseason. Tomorrow night, a program alert. We're going to be coming on at 11 o'clock Eastern instead of 10 o'clock Eastern due to special programming. So we'll see you tomorrow night, 120-minute full court press. Other than that, you're on your own. Later.
What?